when we're talking about finding a niche, there's no guarantee of success out there. And
Hmm.
as you just rightly mentioned, when we're discussing on the paid ad, like if I have to put it in my own structure, there's nothing called an overnight success. It's
Ji.
always the consistent efforts that lead you to success. But how can individuals really, overcome the fear of failure or fear of missing out when they're committing to a specific niche?
For again, you have to align yourself spiritually and emotionally strong
Mhm.
person. So when you are spiritually and emotionally strong, you don't have those emotions of fear of missing out and fear of staying, just not achieving it. Then you will be able to find your answers. You do not have comparison in your mind when you are emotionally strong and spiritually aligned with your purpose. Then you get some answers from within, if it is right or not. Am I going on the right direction or not? And when also, again, you might say that she's repeating this again and again, but it has also helped me because starting a journey of coach at the age of 19 was not easy to stand out. But I had people around me who, my mentors, and when they said, oh, you are going in the right direction, whenever I had any doubt, I used to go back to them. Most of the times, like, people used to say, how can she coach when she is so young? So I didn't have answer to this question. I tried finding out myself. I spent a week, but I couldn't find. Then I went back to my mentor and I asked him. People are asking me this question. Then
Mhm.
again, I was like back on my track. Yes, I am on the right track. So again, to align yourself emotionally strong and spiritually, you need to have a right spiritual mentor. And always, your business mentor should be one, who is having his own purpose, who is just not talking about the numbers. Because you may become rich, but there would be hollowness in your life. So having a coach is like the must thing in life. I would always say this. It will save your lot of time and money and energy.
That I totally agree. And Natasha, when you mentioned that it's not only about being rich, but we live in a world that's driven by self-interest, and very seldom we find people that embody the spirit of giving as well. What are your thoughts? How important is giving to back to the society in your journey of self-discovery and on the path to success?
Pulkit, this is the problem. We always think on the surface. Like you ask me, what is the importance of giving? We all know the importance of giving, but over a period of time, our consciousness has become like that. We have become self-centric and selfish. And even when we are giving, we are posting it on social media and showing off. It
Mhm.
is in a subtle way boosting my ego. I am not aware of it, but it is boosting my ego. Again, when you're saying we have become really self-centric, become self-centric, but change your consciousness of self-centricness, right?
Mhm.
Change your thoughts, give direction to your thoughts, make your thoughts pure. When you make your thoughts pure, you will be self-centric, but purely. Then your self-centric would say to you, be a selfless giver. When you give from your right hand, you will never want to show it to the left hand. It has to come from within. If I tell you, or if I tell myself or anybody, be a giver, it is important because of da 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 da, it is not going to help until I work on my consciousness, until I make my spirit pure. I want to share an example of myself as well. It's not that I have been a great giver whole of my life. I was a very self possessive person. And there was a time I had to write for a coach. I had to write some blog for a coach. This was the first time. And I was like, how can I write for her when she's my competitor? Then
Mhm.
I went back into silence to find the answer because I myself, see, my brain was saying this, but my spirit was not accepting this thought. So there was a fight between my spirit and my brain. You understand?
Yep.
Yeah. So I went back into the silence and sent this question to the universe, and universe answered that, When you help others to grow, you grow. This just one line shifted my mindset. And after that, I have never looked back. It's not like that thought never came again. It came again. But I reminded myself. But
Mhm.
after reminding it again and again, again and again, again and again, it became a natural habit. You will not see if you go back to my posts, on social media, like 8 9 years ago, 7 years ago, you will see showing me off photos when I'm doing social work and all. But if you see my recent post of 4 5, like recent 4 years, nothing. Even not talking about it.
No, that's so important right now in the society where giver's gain needs to be embodied by every other person for the society to grow as a whole.
So, no, Pulkit, one more thing. Let's remove this gain from our life. A giver's gain.
Mm.
When we have a thought, if we give, we will get back again. Again, we will have that expectation.
Mhm.
So, let's just be a giver. Be a giver no matter if I get or not. And this will make me a humble and kind person that I want to be. It will not boost my subtle ego.
But Natasha, help me understand one aspect of this. Is a saying that takers don't have any boundaries when they are taking, and
Hmm.
givers don't set any boundaries when they are giving. But then at the end, the person who he or she is giving continuously, they are often tend to be taken advantage of.
There
Times
you have
it
to
feels
set boundary. You need to find out where I have to give and where I have not to give. And boundary, it when you start doing this, na, you don't have to become that like pity and all. When you are a real giver who is having high self-esteem and you are just a giver, it will speak from your body language. See, there are people who have the nature of taking people for granted. I am also can be that person, right? And it's not depend that it is my habit. Sometimes we also allow people to take us for granted. We have to set that boundary. I always say, love by law. I have learned this from my mentors, masters. Love by law. So set boundary when you are loving. It's not like that when you are setting that boundary you will hurt people. People will get a silent message that
yeah.
you can't just take, shit on this person.
Agree with you that we need to set up those boundaries and learn to say no. It's the giver who needs to start respecting himself or herself first, and
Right.
then get into the habit of giving.
For
Yeah.
example, when it comes to donating money, this has been taught by many, many great wealth coaches as well. So you just need to practice that. That, for example, you have set a certain amount that I'll donate this particular amount this month, and somebody is coming to you and saying, "Hey, we are doing this charity, da da da. Can you contribute?" You can politely say, "My budget for this month's contribution has end already. I am not in situation." But what we do, we feel like, "Oh, how can I say this? It is going to, show that person that, oh, he's not rich. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I don't care what people feel about me." And I always believe in keeping myself low. I don't want to show how much I am earning. I completely, just say, "Hey, my budget for this month of giving is like just end." Let's take one more example, very practical example here. When you
Mm.
go for blood donation, you donate 1 unit,
Yes, yes.
then you can't donate second unit. They don't allow you.
Yep.
If you do that, how what will happen? You will be in danger.
Yes.
You have set the limit there. When you have set the limit there, doctors have set the limit there. Why can't at other places? Why can't in your relationships? Why can't in your office?
I totally agree on this. And this brings me to my next question that
Gee.
what would be the actionable steps you would recommend to our listeners for them to start cultivating a mindset of generosity and start becoming a giver in their daily lives?
Again, I think I have answered this question already. You need to connect yourself with your spirit first. You need to first identify who am I.
Mhm.
Why am I on this earth? What is my purpose of life? See, purpose may change after a certain period of time, but at least find out your purpose at this point. And that should not be the materialistic purpose. purpose that add value to the world, that makes the world a better place.
That's so right on point, Dasha. And we discussed that self-awareness or connecting spiritually is one of the ways to it. Can we connect it to self-love as well? And
So, a
yeah.
very good question. Thankfully, you asked me this question. I love answering this. So, we have misunderstood the definition of self love these days. Again, we are just limiting self love to self centricness,
Hmm.
and it is boosting our ego. First, I want to address the question how we can become self-aware. When we become self-aware, we can start practicing real self-love, which is divine love. If you want to say self-love, let's say pure and divine love to
Hmm.
the self, to the world, and to the self, and to the universe, to the almighty, whatever. So self awareness can come from doing self checking. You check yourself, you check your actions, make a checklist, and you check your thought process. What
Hmm.
I am thinking, is this particular thought of mine, is it good or not? Not just good for myself, good for the world as well. That is also a type of giving. Giving is always not about materialistic giving,
Hmm.
right? Or helping somebody.
Yeah.
When I am thinking that whatever thought I am creating, whatever I am thinking, is it beneficial for people around me also, or is it going to make this world a better place? If yes, then you are a giver. You
Got
have to do that subtle checking. And to do that self checking, you have to do self talking. Making sense? And
it.
this journey in itself will take you on the path of self love, on the divine and pure love.
And how does self-love really differentiate? Because you right now mentioned that, and I totally agree that the true meaning of self-love has totally changed for today's generation. And do you agree with me that it has somewhere or the other found its roots getting into self-indulgence or self-neglect somewhere?
I think yes. See, and one more thing, we say, accept yourself, but we are not accepting ourselves. I always say, I have seen this. I have also realized this over a period of time. We put a lot of time on looking at our face. How am I looking? Am I looking smart or not? My skin is black. My skin is white. And, we put a lot of makeup to look beautiful. And then we call it self acceptance. This is not self acceptance. You need a lot of courage and guts to accept yourself as you are. And when you start doing that, you don't need to put any makeup on your face, and you will not spend hours on in front of mirror. That is called body consciousness. And until we overcome this body consciousness thing, we cannot emerge self love within ourselves.
Got it.
We have to become soul consciousness to emerge the pure and divine love within ourselves. And I'm just not selling, just sharing for the reference. My book Uncover Your Unlimited Potential is talking about all these things only: how to practice soul consciousness, and how to be detached from body consciousness, and how to do self checking, how to be a self aware person, and all these things.
Amazing. Nasha, this brings me to a point where the very first form of love any human being gets to experience is the love between a child and a parent.
A
And
mother first.
yeah, your mother first. And this love evolves over the age, over the years, and takes different forms and, gets into a place where at the initial part of it, it's the child is at the receiving end, but eventually after 30, 40 years or 50 years, the child comes at a giver's end as well. And the balance
Yes.
is being maintained somewhere or the other. It's
Yeah,
not only
yeah.
that he or she is giving or he or she is receiving, but it's a balance that's coming in place. So how do you really define this where after, let's say, growing up, crossing the late 20s, a lot
Hmm.
of conflicts arise. Like there are different form of conflicts during a teenage time, there are different form of conflicts during the toddler age, there are
Hmm.
different conflicts once the teenage is over. But
Hmm.
in the current era, we are seeing a lot of conflicts happening also after the late 20s or 30s or early 30s. What are your thoughts
Hmm.
around that?
So, what I have learned, after studying the law of karma or the karmic cycle, See, this is not happening with everyone, and this is different. For some, it is small, some for some it's zero, and for some the percentage is like higher, right? And we are in the era where the souls have become really impure. The world has become impure because we have a lot of negativity around. In the negative world, you cannot expect 100% pure relationships. You can accept, but for that, you need to change your consciousness. You need to change your consciousness from negative to just not positive to divine. Whatever is happening with me, it is my karmic account. If my relationship with my mother is not good, it's my karmic account. It's my karmic cycle. Now we can't say that, there is no karmic cycle because soul do not take another birth. If soul is not taking another birth, then why the population is so huge? Why we are not just living happily? When I am coming directly from the, you call it heaven. When the soul is coming from the heaven, it should be pure. Then why the soul is in so much trouble? Why
Mhm.
when a child is born and just gets sick? It is our karmic account. When we start understanding the karmic cycle, we will start understanding these conflicts, the sickness, and all the troubles happening in my life. And that will help me to go in the acceptance zone of my relationship. And from there, I can start working on my consciousness and I can change those patterns of relationship. I have practically experienced these things in my life. So, I can bet on it.